If your idea of cooking is opening an app, tapping the same burger combo you swore you were done with, and telling yourself, all right, this is the last time, then yeah, we need to talk. Because this is not one of those leafy, preachy, drink a green smoothie and find yourself videos. This is about fast food. The hot, salty, crispy, hyper-engineered little chaos goblin that somehow knows your name, your order, and your weakest hour. And look, I get it. Fast food is convenient. It's cheap enough to justify, fast enough to excuse, and tasty enough to make your brain go, yep, we're doing this again tomorrow. That's the trap. Not because one burger ruins your life. It doesn't. The problem is when the habit starts running the show, when it stops being a treat and starts becoming your default setting. And that's where this gets weird, because research on ultra-processed foods suggests they can light up reward pathways in ways that look a whole lot like addictive patterns for some people, especially when cravings, loss of control, and repeated overeating start showing up.
So this video is basically my life as a fast food addict, the signs I ignored, why this stuff is so hard to quit, and the uncomfortable question sitting in the backseat the whole time. Are you addicted too? Let's start with how it usually begins. Not with some dramatic rock bottom moment. Nah, it starts innocent. You're busy, you're tired, you've had a long day. Maybe you're juggling work, family, errands, whatever. Cooking feels like unpaid overtime, and the drive-thru feels like a warm little hug from modern society. So you get fries on Monday, nuggets on Wednesday, burgers on Friday. Then one day you realize the cashier recognizes your voice before your own family does. That's when the plot thickens. For me, the pattern wasn't hunger. That's the sneaky part. It was routine. Fast food became the answer to everything. Stress? Eat. Bored? Eat. Celebrating? Eat. Bad day? Extra fries. Good day? You earned dessert. Didn't sleep enough? Breakfast sandwich. Slept too much? Coffee and hash browns. It was less about food and more about relief. A quick hit, a shortcut to feeling better for 15 minutes. And that matters because experts looking at ultra-processed foods say these products are designed to be intensely rewarding, with combinations of fat, refined carbs, salt, flavorings, and texture that make them hard to stop eating once you start. That's why the usual advice of just use more discipline can feel so useless. It's like telling someone to calmly ignore a marching band in their kitchen. The issue is not that you're lazy or broken. It's that these foods are insanely easy to access, heavily marketed, and built to be hyper-palatable. They don't ask much from you. No chopping, no waiting, no cleanup. Just a few taps and a dopamine-flavored care package lands in your lap. And when your brain learns that fast food equals comfort, speed, and reward, it starts asking for it on cue. Same route home, same lunch break, same emotional slump. Cue the craving. Now, let's get one thing straight. Food addiction is still debated in some scientific circles, so I'm not going to stand here and pretend every craving means you have some clinical diagnosis. But there is a growing body of research showing that for some people, ultra-processed foods can trigger behaviors that look a lot like addiction. Intense cravings, loss of control, failed attempts to cut back, and continued use despite obvious negative consequences. That's the key right there. Not whether you really like fries. Everybody likes fries. The question is whether your relationship with this stuff feels compulsive.
Here's the simplest test. Do you keep eating it even when it's messing with your life? Your energy's tanking. Your clothes fit different. Your blood pressure's creeping up. Your sleep is garbage. You feel sluggish after meals. You say you'll stop, then you're back in line 3 days later acting like this time it's just for convenience. If that sounds familiar, that's not a random appetite issue. That's a pattern. And fast food doesn't just hit your waistline. Let's not do the whole, oh, it's just calories thing. A lot of fast food meals are loaded with sodium, added sugars, saturated fat, and refined ingredients. Too much sodium, for example, is tied to higher blood pressure, and high blood pressure raises the risk of heart disease and stroke. Mayo Clinic flat out warns that excess sodium can contribute to serious health problems, and the CDC also points out that too much added sugar is linked to weight gain, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. So when people act like this is just about looking leaner in a t-shirt, nah, this goes way deeper than that. And here's the wild part. The more often you eat heavily processed, intensely salty, sugary, fatty foods, the more normal they can start to feel. Then, regular food gets done dirty.
Chicken breast and rice? Oh, boring. Fruit? Oh, cute, but where's the crunch, the grease, the engineered bliss? Your taste buds aren't betraying you, they're adapting. That's one reason cutting back can feel miserable at first. Not because healthier food is bad, but because your baseline has been hijacked. That was probably the biggest red flag in my own so-called fast food era. Whole meals at home started to feel like a punishment, and that is absurd when you really think about it. Real food started feeling like the side quest, and drive-through food became the main storyline. I wasn't asking what would make me feel good tonight. I was asking what will hit the fastest. That's addict logic right there. Fast reward over long-term benefit every single time. Then come the lies. The lies are elite. I'm too busy to cook. It's cheaper this way. I'll start fresh Monday. I barely ate all day, so this doesn't count. I'll just get one thing. You say one thing, then suddenly there's a combo, a side, a drink the size of a toddler, and some bonus item you didn't even want 5 minutes ago. If you've ever finished a meal and immediately felt half satisfied and half disappointed, welcome to the club nobody wanted to join.
That's another sign, by the way. The anticipation is bigger than the payoff. You feel the craving hard. You go get the food. The first few bites are incredible. Then somewhere in the middle, it stops being amazing and starts becoming automatic. But you keep going anyway. That kind of disconnected eating, where your hand keeps moving after the excitement is gone, is one of the clearest signs that you're not really eating for hunger anymore. You're chasing the feeling. And the health side stacks up quietly. Processed and fast foods have been associated with obesity and a long list of adverse outcomes. And some researchers argue that diets high in processed food may be contributing to disease on a massive scale. Again, no need for drama. You don't need to pretend one takeout meal is a death sentence. But if most of your week is wrapped in paper, boxed in cardboard, or passed through a window, your body notices. Maybe not today. Maybe not this month. But it notices.
So, are you addicted? Let's make this painfully simple. If fast food is all of these things for you, then yeah, you might be dealing with more than a preference. 1, you crave it even when you're not physically hungry. 2, you tell yourself you'll cut back and keep failing. 3, you eat more than you planned. 4, you use it to regulate stress, sadness, boredom, or exhaustion. 5, you keep going back even though you hate how it makes you feel after. 6, normal food seems less satisfying now. 7, it's affecting your health, energy, or mood, and you still can't seem to stop. That right there is the difference between enjoying fast food and being run by it. Now, before this turns into a shame spiral, let me say this clearly. Beating a fast food habit is not about becoming that person who meal preps 28 glass containers every Sunday while smiling at asparagus. Relax. You do not need a personality transplant. You need friction. That's it. Make the addictive option slightly harder and the decent option slightly easier. Because right now, the drive-thru is winning on speed, convenience, and habit memory. So you have to rig the game a little.
Don't start with never again. That sounds heroic and usually lasts about 36 hours. Start with specific rules, like no fast food before 6 p.m., or only once this week. Or if I want it, I have to wait 20 minutes first. Or I can buy it, but no combo, no app dessert, no backup snack for later. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to break the automatic loop. Then fix the ambush moments. Most people don't relapse because they're weak. They relapse because they're predictable. It's always the same time, same road, same stress level, same "I don't feel like cooking" speech. So prepare for the moment before it shows up. Keep easy food at home, not fantasy food. Realistic food. Frozen meals with decent nutrition. Rotisserie chicken, Greek yogurt, fruit, sandwich stuff, microwave rice, soup, eggs. Stuff that can beat the drive-thru on convenience, not on moral superiority. And if you notice this habit is tied to emotions, don't ignore that part. Because sometimes the burger isn't the real issue. The real issue is that you're overwhelmed, lonely, burned out, underslept, or running on fumes. And fast food became your legal, socially acceptable coping mechanism. Which means if you only remove the food and don't deal with the stress,
your brain will just go shopping for another fix.
So no, this video isn't here to tell you fast food is evil and kale is your new stepdad. It's simpler than that. If fast food is occasional, enjoyable, and under control, cool, live your life. But if it's become your default comfort, your emotional support meal, your daily reward, your secret little compulsion that keeps overruling your better judgment, then it's worth calling it what it is, a habit with teeth. Maybe even an addiction-like pattern, especially when the cravings, loss of control, and health consequences keep piling up. And the first step is brutally unsexy. Just be honest. Not dramatic, honest. You don't need to swear off fries forever. You just need to stop pretending this thing has no grip on you when it clearly does. Because once you can name the pattern, you can finally start messing with it. And that, my friend, is when you stop being the passenger in your own drive-through life. So, yeah, if your weekly meal plan is basically a logo tour and your favorite cooking appliance is your car, maybe it's time to ask the question for real. Are you eating fast food, or is fast food eating your discipline alive?